everybody, this is Kyra from the forums. So today I want to talk about characters that I would like to see be put into Legacy. I have actually a lot of characters, but for this video I'm only focusing it on characters that I can come up with a baseline plot for, not just like characters that I have no idea that would work in the game aside from just being a cameo. There's not too many for this list, and the plots aren't going to be very detailed. It's just a baseline, like here's what their arc would be for the game. And these are all just a wish list. This isn't like a do or die. If they're not in Legacy, I'll be upset. This is just, hey, here's some characters that I think would be cool to be added. And it's just for fun, really to just get a conversation going to see if other people have characters that they would include or maybe expand on the ones I added. For this video purpose, I'm not using any characters from newer shows, mainly because I stopped watching Cartoon Network when a lot of the new shows came out. So I don't know their characters well enough to really give them a good plot. That's basically why I want to avoid them. So a lot of these are going to be older characters from older shows. So let's start with our first ones. It's actually a group. It's number 362, number 60, and number 86. I put them in a group because they're kind of a group. I mean, 86 is really the only one who's gotten a majority solo-wise. Number 60 is barely noticeable, and I'm sure very few people actually recognize him or recognize his name. And 362 has had a few solo, but compared to 86, she hasn't had a lot of attention. Quick synopsis on them. Number 362 is the supreme leader of the kids next door. Number 60 is, I would equivalent him to a general just because he seems to be pretty high up. He's in charge of the Arctic base and he's usually training the new recruits, but I've seen him a couple times on the moon base. And we've got number 86 who is in charge of decommissioning, and she had another mission or another position, but I forgot what it was. It was from Operation Zero, and I haven't seen that movie in a while enough to remember what it was. But I would also consider her kind of the second in command. Her and 362 are pretty good friends. She would probably be the closest to a second in command that you're going to get. So their whole mission, they kind of shared the same mission, and that's why I grouped them together, is that they're trying to contact the moon base. I really don't know what's going to happen for the moon base. I don't know what the story writers are planning, but for the purposes of this plot, the moon base is gone, or it's decommissioned, or not decommissioned, it's out of commission, and they're down on Earth, and they're trying to get into contact with the moon base again, or trying to find a way to get back to the moon base. The three of them are spread out. I have number 86 in the suburbs, number 60 somewhere up north, preferably in the cold, since it sounds like there's going to be a cold area. I mean, Butch and Brick are somewhere up north, so maybe number 60's over there keeping an eye on them because they are teenagers with superpowers, and that's pretty dangerous for a all-kid organization. And then I've got number 362 somewhere either in downtown or the wilds. I could see her in either of them. So that's really it for those three. Their plot line is pretty simple, but at the same time it's kind of difficult since they're down on Earth and the moon is so far high up, and they can't even get a spacecraft up into the atmosphere. So that's for them. Our next set, we have another set. It's number Infinity, number 74.239, and Chad, or otherwise known as number 274. For me, I can use either one. He started going by Chad later after he became a teen trader, but really it could be either one since Number Affinity calls him 274 at the very end of the series. So quick synopsis on those three, since outside of Chad, the rest you probably don't recognize. Number Infinity and Number 74.239 are discovered to be Galactic Kids Next Door agents. It was hinted at the final season of Kids Next Door. And even 74.239 gets a mention in the promo Stop the JKND, which, I don't know, I'm kind of considering it canon, but I know it's not going to be used for the game, obviously, because it's, at this point, not even a real one. It's just a promo waiting to be greenlit. So I very loosely use them, but it's mostly based on their Season 6 reveals. And so these three are working for the Galactic Kids Next Door. As such, the Galactic Kids Next Door, as we can suppose, has like top-notch technology. I mean, Number Infinity and 274 were able to teleport just by using what looks like bio, because they use their boogers, and that's bio, so I don't know what I would call it. Anyways, since they have technology that's pretty advanced, I see them working with the plumbers, since the plumbers deal with alien technology. So those three would probably be assisting them, helping them upgrade a lot of the weapons, or maybe even recognizing a lot of the weapons they have that they might not know where it's from, and working on it from there. I have 74.239 in downtown, probably close to the plumber's base, because he's a scientist, and it makes sense that he's closer to the plumbers than Infinity and Chad would be. Those two are, I see them more up towards the wilds and maybe even the Darklands. Just because 274 is a pretty good fighter, and I see Infinity sort of like his handler, since Infinity was there watching over Number One. He's also 274's handler, since it seems the two have talked to each other or interacted enough. So that's it for the Kids Next Door until the end of this video, and you'll see why. Next up, we have Goo. I really did want her, and she was probably one of the Foster's cast that I was upset wasn't there, but at the same time, I could probably see why she wasn't there. For these purposes, I have her working at Mandark's, just because she has shown the greatest prowess for imagination power. So I could easily see Mandark hiring her as an intern, but in reality, he's using her as a test subject to see the lengths and gather all the data for it. And really, I just want her to be there to be a friend of Robot Jones. I don't think Mandark's going to treat him bad. I mean, from the promos we've seen, Mandark's pretty friendly with him. And I really do think Mandark really is happy to have Jones there. And that makes me happy. Like, I always felt so bad for Mandark, because he was a villain and he was kind of a butt monkey, but there was something tragic about him that he wanted to be really, really good, and he was in a competition, but life just kept kicking him down, and it was kind of tragic. So hearing that Jones, and he's really happy to have his own version of Computress and in Robot Jones, it was really sweet. So maybe Goo will be also be a friend to him, because she seems pretty friendly. I can't recall anywhere in the series where she was upset with a person. I mean, she was upset with Mac for like a little bit, but to be fair, Mac yelled at her, so she wasn't really angry with him as much as she was hurt by him. But I think Goo would easily be Mandark's friend. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be adorable. Next up, we've got Nurgle Jr. I'll admit his was a little harder to come up with. There's really two ways. Either he could be in Ennsville keeping an eye on Billy, because let's be realistic, Billy is kind of a jerk in Fusion Fall. I mean, he gets his redeeming factor towards the end, but he's kind of a jerk. So maybe he's there keeping an eye, making sure Billy doesn't get into things, doesn't cause more trouble, because, I mean, Grim and Mandy are basically gone, so who's keeping an eye on Billy? No one. So Nurgle Jr. could probably help him out. And really, that's just me wanting them to have more family relations, because it's not really addressed in this show, and I know it's not about it, but when you introduce a family member like that, you should address it just a bit more. Otherwise, I could see him being up in Darklands, fighting off fusions with his new powers, because he's probably... I don't know if he's updated, because everyone has kind of the same model. They're all kind of the same size, so you can't really judge age by that. If they did age him up a little bit, he's probably gotten more powerful. If they haven't aged him up, he's probably still powerful. I don't know. Maybe it was just because they introduced him so early in the show. And by him, I also mean his dad. They introduced Nurgle so early. And he just looked like such a powerful demon that I just figure it just passed on. So that's really all I have for Junior. Obviously, more could be done with him. If he is already decided to be in, maybe it's a totally different plot line. But that's all I've got for his plot line. The last one of a normal NPC, and you'll understand what I mean after this, would be Agent Honeydew from Dexter's lab. If Monkey's there, it would make sense that she could also join up and help him with his missions, either be his translator or something. But she could also be a liaison for global security, unless global security is dissolved at this point. I guess so, since we kind of have several organizations similar to it. But I wouldn't mind this being a possible nether faction war between global security and the SSGA. I'm really excited for that faction war. If the fifth pick of the days couldn't tell you, but it'd be interesting to see her show up. She could also help out Major Glory. I don't know what's going to happen to the Justice Friends. I don't know what's going on with the rest of the team. If they are missing, which would make sense. If they are, maybe she could be of assistance to Major Glory to help find them, which would put her in line with Dex Lab, since Dexter's whole mission was to find heroes and recruit them. So the next two suggestions are going to be event NPCs, and they're holiday event NPCs, so obviously they're not going to be implemented for very long. It's just for the seasons. The first one I have is a Halloween NPC, and it's Jack-o'-lantern from Billy and Mandy. That holiday special was one of my favorites, not just for Halloween, but for all of Cartoon Network's holidays. And probably that's the nostalgia speaking, because I remember it fondly. But I think he would be such a fun addition to the Fusion Fall universe. He could be the reason why during Halloween, it was all dark. Like, only the moon was out, no sun. Because he did that similar in the special where he made it Halloween night. So that could be the reason he can turn the fusions orange just to mess with Fuse. And really his whole mission would be he's assisting the players only because Fuse is interfering with his ability to keep Halloween all day for the year, sorry. Because if Fuse is there and he has to focus his attention on Fuse, then he can't have Halloween be a constant thing. So that's the only reason why he's involved in the war, is to beat off Fuse. I don't know. I thought he'd be a fun addition to Halloween. Dracula was a good one, but we know Dracula is going to be an actual NPC. Like, he'll be there for a while. So maybe Jack could take over his position as the Halloween event. And my last suggestion, is for Christmas. I don't know if they're going to do Christmas or what's the chowder one? Nishmas? I don't know. Somebody correct me. But if they do the Christmas, which, I mean, I would think they would want to do Christmas only because enough shows that are in the universe all had a Christmas episode. And so it's been acknowledged through those universes that it's been Christmas, and only chowder is the Nishmas one. Nishmas? You know what? I'm done. Anyways, so for my holiday suggestion, no, it's not Santa, only because I don't know who I would choose as Santa. But I would like to see the Alpha Strike Squad be included. And this is how you know I enjoy one-shot characters, because these guys only appeared for one episode, and they do not get a lot of attention in the fandom. And I'm pretty sure even a lot of people who watch K&D probably don't remember them. But the Alpha Strike Squad was an X-Men parody consisting of Wintergreen, Snow Angel, Nutcracker, and Coniferous. Yeah, that's how I say it. They were basically the top elves of Santa, and they took care of everything. So their mission, their overall plot would be that the presents are stolen, obviously by the fusions, and so they enlist the help of the players to go get them. And I'm pretty sure this was a mission back in Fusion Fall, but it can easily be converted over to fit for them. The 4 of them would be spread out, maybe one for each area, like the suburbs, downtown, wilds, and Darklands. But where who goes where, I haven't really decided. I just thought of all the NPCs to be added for Christmas, I decided I wanted to talk about the one-shots, the ones who only got one episode, no one remembers them, probably no one remembers their name, and just moved on. But I don't know. I've always liked one-shot characters, the ones who get the least amount of attention or recognition in the fandoms. Maybe that's why I'm a writer, because they offer so much fun. So that's it on my suggestions. I probably have a lot more, and I'm sure I could think of more characters and plots, but these were just the ones that came out that struck to me the most. I want to know your opinions. I want to know if these plots sound absolutely awful, if some of them sound exciting, which ones you would work on, which ones you think could use a bit more tune-up or just doesn't sound in line with their characters, and maybe your own suggestions on which characters would go where. But that's it for now. This has been one of my longest videos. I will catch you guys all on the forum, and in Tom's famous words, stay gold.